the more I think the parallels with the biological or human view of infection and this sort of struggle between viruses and life forms and computers and kind of malware have a lot in common. Computers actually do work a lot like cellular life forms, that inside each cell is a piece of RNA, inside each computer is a set of instructions, and oddly enough, the job of a virus in particular, which is actually just a package, it's hardly even a cell, of RNA, its objective is to invade the cell and co-opt it into producing the virus's genetic code. What does a computer virus do? Well, its objective is to penetrate the computer, masquerading as data, and then get the computer's processor to process its instructions and replicate itself thereby. In the biological world, the transfer agent are the droplets of human stuff that get taken by other humans. The virus comes along with it and you get infected. It's like blaming the air. And it's actually not the network. The network is merely the medium of these two amazingly complex systems. One has a vulnerability, it gets exploited, but the exploit's aim is to replicate itself in all these other machines. And it's not that the protocols are the problem, it's not even that the network's the problem, that's just the transmission agent. The real problem is, I have this piece of behaviour that I didn't expect, that someone has managed to implant to their evil ends, and it's replicating. And so secure protocols don't change that in the same way that secure air doesn't stop viruses moving through a human population. So this stuff about computers and security is probably as old as the von Neumann computing architecture and has been with us ever since. So it's nothing new. There's no point saying this is a new thing. It's not. And from that, I think there are probably a number of lessons that we can take from this. Let's just look at one of these attacks just to understand what I'm talking about. October 2017, there was a company called Dyn. Was, because it doesn't exist anymore. It was big in the DNS circles. And they seem to have either attracted the ire of someone or they've been an unwitting victim. The attacker amassed a collection of, now get this, baby monitoring cameras. And they're perfectly good baby monitoring cameras, and even today they might still be monitoring babies because that's why they were bought, and they do a bloody good job monitoring baby cameras, babies, right? But inside the camera was, of course, TCP/IP because it's a web monitor. And the dear manufacturers, wherever they might be, decided that what people wanted was a baby monitoring camera, not decent software. And so what they used as a control structure was a packaged piece of software, which I think is actually open source, called BusyBox. Which might be fine, I don't know. But what I do know is that it has only 100 different passwords to become the root user on a baby webcam. Admin's one of them, by the way, if you find one. They co-opted a few million, because lots of people have babies, they were cheap, lots of them bought. And they co-opted these baby web monitoring cameras to send a small number of DNS queries to a set of servers on the east coast of the US. Sum total of those small number of queries, 1 terabit. End result, meltdown. Now, is the network at the fault? No. Is even the DNS the fault? No. Secure DNS would have fixed this? No. It's not that the protocol's the problem. The real issue was, this is cheap commodity software. It wasn't sold as being Iron Fortress TCP. It was sold as consumer-grade web monitoring cameras. This is a mere example of where we're going and why we're going to hell so quickly and in such such volume that the internet of stupid things is the internet of toxically stupid things. This stuff is built to be cheap, and cheap is not necessarily good, it's just cheap. So when I buy a television, I have no idea who wrote the TCP stack. I have no idea if it's actually proof against some kind of attack. I have no idea if my television is part of yet another attack bot right now. And in some ways, as a consumer, I'm not sure I should, but nevertheless, it's happening. Now, it's bad enough with a few billion of these devices across the planet. Next year, there's going to be double, and the next year after that, and so on. How do we control that? No idea. No idea. Isn't the CERT there to fix this? No, they're not. They won't do this. What about my friendly police force? Well, no. So who's going to stop this? No one. How bad does it get? When the WannaCry virus was released, a whole bunch of computer tomography monitors in the United Kingdom got infected and stopped working. These massively expensive pieces of vital medical equipment stopped working. Why? Because controllers run Windows. And the job is a piece of diagnostic medical equipment. It's not there to be a fortress and a bastion of good IT practice. Piece of medical equipment. The more and more we put these complex devices into work in our society, the more I think we're getting to the grip and understanding that we don't build good systems, and we have very little incentive to even build good systems, and the end result is our environment becomes compromised. But I'm actually, I suppose, saying, and this is the bleak part of this message, and it is very bleak, that level of compromise is hopeless. There is no clear solution. I have yet to see anyone figure out how we can instill quality back into supply lines. This is not like an aeroplane that costs $1 billion. It's not even like a car that costs some thousands of dollars. This is stuff that costs $5. There's no incentive for quality when it costs $5. No one's going to police it. Yet you put a few billion $5 devices and orchestrate them to send a DNS packet a second to some poor old DNS farm on the east coast of America, and you too can cause meltdown of most of the internet for most of that country for most of the afternoon, costing billions if not trillions of dollars. Gee whiz. Where do we go from here is one of these open-ended questions that's just scary. I liken it up to the level of scary of climate change scary. We're driving ourselves in a consumer-led revolution in putting these devices out there without the vaguest clue as to what it means to do that, how these devices can work in a way that prevents them being co-opted, prevents them being running applications that just do innocuous things badly, just enough that if you get enough of them together, you can cause savage mayhem. This is a bleak world as a result of that. And while I applaud the fact that, you know, there are certs and there are these response teams and so on, I kind of give them pity. They're being set up to fail, and we don't understand what success might be. We just don't have all the bad things sitting their evil bit. Hi, I'm bad, kill me now. They all look good until they sort of put them in a corner and let them run wild, and then that was a bad idea, we shouldn't have done that. So no, it's not secure protocols, it's worse than that. When you build really complex systems, humans are one of them, you get complex behaviours. And what makes a behaviour complex, oddly enough, is its sheer unpredictability. You can push it into places that you've never seen them act like that before. And whether that push is unforeseen, fat fingers an accident, or deliberate by someone else, is merely a matter of motive. The aberrant behaviour was always an issue with highly complex systems.